Sampath Kumar reporting. To the Bangalorians.
The burning topic, Ash Prime, the fate of the PUC students. Epic journey. Admission into college, pre-university course, science stream. What class of students enter science stream at PUC level is a major question to be asked. And the answer would be, the students can be broadly categorized into three. The number one being the students who have performed very well in 10th level or SSLC or ICSE 10th or CBSE 10th, and they have passion for science and want to achieve something in the field of science. So they enter into science stream. Category 2, these group of students have got somehow some kind of marks that can fetch them a seat in the science stream, and they will be counseled by their well-wishers, who could be their own parents, uncles or aunties, neighbors, friends, any well-wisher who would recommend them to get admitted into science stream. The third category of the student are the one who have either managed to score really well or have performed very poorly but can get admitted into science, but they have some other dreams or desires which they want to follow, but they'll be forced to take science stream. Category 1 students with passion for science on entering the science stream and commencing their classes at the college. The passionate towards science students can again take two paths. One, by reading more, they get enthralled and their passion enhanced. And these passion enhanced, further on, the passion can continue in them. Or the passion combined with the distractions in the college, a new life, a new bunch of friends, and new things to explore and taste. This could be slightly deviating from their attention towards science, and dedication towards science could be slightly hurt. The second path will be, they were passionate at the school level, but when they entered the college, their total view about science would change, because the way their school teachers actually encourage them for the science may not be the same at the college level, because they might feel the lecturers were not as good as their school teachers, and they were not encouraging, and they don't care, they don't nourish their dreams or their passion towards science, and their passion in studies in these students diminish. Thereafter, it can lead even to lost focus in studies, and they will consider they made a mistake taking science. Category 2 students who are counseled to enter science stream. On going to college, the class could turn out to be interesting by inspired lecturers. They could turn into passionate towards science, or at least tend to understand science better than what they felt they understood at the school level. The same counseled students, the second path could be that they were counseled, but on getting into the classes, the ongoing classes could make them feel that science is not that very easy, what it used to be at the school level, but at college it's slightly difficult and more work and too much of distractions and other things that they are not able to focus. And this can later on, as time passes, you can see signs of failures. It will be very clearly visible in them. Category 3, students who were forced to enter science stream might get mingled with students who are passionate towards science. They can get this love for science through them, and the college and the lecturers could also turn them into passionate students, or at least make science understandable to them. They'll continue to understand and show some interest, and they can see a bright future in the field of science. The second path would be the students who are forced in science. Because of this mental trauma, they can get frustrated with science because they know that neither in the school level things were going good. Even at the college, the same saga continues, where nothing is making fine for them. They are not able to understand whatever the lecturers are saying, or the quantity of work is too much. Okay, the whole science looks like Greek and Latin for them, and signs of failure will be visible in them, and the frustration could lead to disaster of their career in the field of science. Whether you are passionate towards science, or you were counseled by your well-wishers, or if you are forced into science stream, all these three categories of students collectively form band of brothers, and in other words, Trimurtigala Sangama. Classes in progress. Students attending class. You participated in the class and you feel you understood, but when you come back home and sit and try to make some sense of what actually happened in the class, the textbook and the what lecturers said is not tallying, or you're not able to make a sense of anything. Everything seems to be so puzzled and quizzed, and complexity of this studies is going over your head. The second category could be like you were able to interact and keep pace with the lecturer or the faculty in the class. The third category will be like you understood everything, but you came back home, but you are so exhausted and tired. Whenever you sit in front of the textbook or your workbook, you doze off or you fall asleep. You're not doing your homework, or you're not keeping the day-to-day activities in such a way that the understanding grows in you. But if you don't try to read on a regular basis or do your homeworks or assignments regularly, you might lose the contact with the understanding as the class and time progresses. The fourth category would be when a class is going on, or as much as time you spend in the class, it is all involving in side talks, self-destructive processes where you are not able to focus, you are elsewhere. Though you are in the class, but you are not getting enough material of information that could actually shape you a better individual as a science student. The fifth category would be, though you have so many students in the class, you are able to isolate yourself from that chaos and able to vibe with the lecturer or faculty in such a way that you are able to focus and do your duty sincerely, diligently and loyally, because you are focused to get into a better college of engineering or medicine. So you will be selfishly sitting over there, focusing seriously on shaping your career. The sixth category will be, if you have done a real good life, spent a real good life at the college level, you will be the elite batch. A vast majority of students in science stream feel science is not my cup of tea, yet it is forced into me. Will I be able to digest it? They will not be able to speak out. They'll be the mute spectators. They know that whatever material knowledge is being fed into them, it is indigestible and they cannot take it anymore. But they have to. But most of them try their best and try to ingest it. And some of them feel that it is over. Their career is done. They are strangled in PUC science stream. It will be the death trap. Whose fault is it anyway? Saga. PUC board examination. The Education Minister Kimmane Ratnakar said to oversee the conduct of the exam a 3-member observers team comprising current Transport Minister Ramegowda, who earlier served as Pre-University Commissioner, would be constituted. A parent climbed up PUC building in Bangalore to protest against the chemistry question paper leak. Cracking the whip, Karnataka government has today suspended about 40 officers and other staff in pre-university department after chemistry paper of class 12 was leaked for the second time in 10 days, leading to cancellation of the exam. As the issue rocked the assembly, Primary and Secondary Education Minister Kimani Ratnakar announced the government's decision in the House amidst protest by BJP members who demanded his resignation. The re-examination will now be held on April 12th, the minister said, as the second leak led to the protest by angry parents and teachers in Bangalore and elsewhere in the state. Ratnakar said that DGP CID has been requested to conduct the speedy investigation into the leak of both March 21 exam and today's re-examination question paper and find out the source behind it and punish those responsible. PUC board question paper leak. The result of the investigation to find the culprit who was behind the question paper leak turned out to be an amazing and astonishing one, where a person close to a politician, that is his personal assistant, was heading office in the year 2016, had obtained the question paper and sold it for 1 lakh rupee, and the person who purchased it in turn sold it to many, the copies of it, and it spread like a wildfire, and later on it was available for free on all social media, and you can see one of the person is displaying it in his cell phone, and some of them had the printed version. You can see one lady is holding the question paper in her hand. The culprit behind was the PA of the politician had ringmastered a peon in the printing press of the question paper itself. This peon was very rich by doing this work for a very long time. He's been leaking this question paper earlier too, but only thing it was not available on social media at a large scale. So therefore it was hidden, and he was very rich by making money out of the question paper leak, and he is arrested now. The malpractices concerning the board examination in a country like India has gone to such an extent where we feel very helpless. You can see the ongoing examination in a particular school, which is some 4 floors. You can see from outside people are conversing with the students who's writing exam inside, climbing onto 4 floors almost. Near almost all the windows you can see students standing who is trying to help other students who's writing, either their friends or such people who is trying to pass on the answers to these people, and there is no police protection for these people. And the most important thing is, if somebody slips and falls from there, death is for sure. And wherever the examination is going on, there is no security to prevent this malpractices. Police is not available, and the general public is just standing and watching. If these people are permitted to get into engineering and medicine, you can think about the plight of general public. The doctors and engineers coming out by copying these examinations could be a disaster for the country and building up a strong nation as such. The board question paper is riddled with errors in our country generally, especially in Karnataka. The PUC board, the errors are continuing for quite some years. In 2016 board exam, it had passed and broke all records. It gave away 21 marks as grace marks, and these students currently are doing their engineering or medicine, because getting students into engineering and medicine is very difficult, because majority of them in PUC will fail, and to push them they need minimum 35, and these students won't be able to even obtain that required 35 mark. So the board itself has helped them by giving 21 marks as grace, and thus they clear, because the majority of the students will fail in mathematics. So this is being eased out deliberately by the board. The PUC students must first evaluate the question paper for error checks and then answer the question paper. They will be under severe psychological stress, especially those who have really prepared well for the exam. After the question paper leak, then again errors in the question paper, then thereafter malpractices in the examination halls. Then finally the question answer scripts arrives at the board, and it is the turn of lecturers now. Somewhere around 2000 PUC lecturers boycott evaluation in Bangalore. The periodic protest from the working PUC lecturer for various management incompetence results in boycotting paper evaluation. This is the crucial time they take government down to raise all their grievances to be answered, taking them seriously. This process further delays the evaluation and the government will be incapable, or they'll try various ways to get them back to evaluate the paper, and this will result in also the delay in the declaration of the result and the frame of mind with which these lecturers will evaluate those paper that will be seen later, what it will result into. The Judgment Day. Result Declaration. The present PUC result declaration format is of the nature do or die. Either you pass or you tend to fail. But in PUC, almost 50% pass and nearly 50% fail. That is the history of PUC. It's very close to that. Pre-university education department's incompetence, a shame for the state. The result is declared and a fake ranking system comes to light. The rankers generally tend to say that they know that they had written well, but they never expected a rank. And most of them who are supposed to have performed well, they will be getting scores which they never even expected or dreamed that things can go so wrong or so miserable for them. So they will dare to challenge the evaluation, and then they ask for photocopy of their answer scripts, evaluated answer scripts, for which you have to pay enormous amount for each copy. So some of them tend to pay and apply for the photocopy. Despite of having applied and having paid money, they will not get their photocopy, and neither their money will be refunded. The department's answer will be either we lost it, maybe we misplaced it, did not search for it, or forgot to search, just don't know what happened to your answer script. Once the photocopy is out in the hands of the students, most of them come to know that their answer scripts were evaluated very carelessly, and it looks as though the evaluators had drunk or they were behaving like a drunken monk. The ranking system is a failure, and it is a fake ranking system, because every time the same answer script is put for revaluation, it will score a different score. Irrespective of change in evaluator, then how can you justify a rank? Consider a reality show where there are judges in the panel trying to gauge or evaluate the performance of the performer. And you can see over here, the performance is the same, but the judges are different. Their opinions and their scores allotted to them varies vast. It is very rare that all will produce the same kind of result. Occasionally, it could happen. But generally, it will be the same answer script put for many times the evaluation. The scores what each paper, the same paper would get will be different. Then how can you ever judge them as first rank or second rank? You can see the same performance over here. A person has given 81%. The other person has given 3. So, if one single evaluator evaluates all the papers based on some rules or criteria, then the ranking system can make some sense, or else it is a major failure. Re-evaluation. Now the rankers list changes. After re-evaluation, they came to know that somebody else has got the first rank now. Because after re-evaluation, a person scored more than the first ranker, which was earlier declared. But now the ranker list changes. So the re-evaluation has not solved the problem. It has created more problems. And coming to the supplementary exam for the failed candidates, there is a re-exam cancelled and the students' protest goes on. So PUC is in a real mess. This particular sheet is obtained from the PUE, that is PUC Educational Department's own website. you can see that the number of students who enrolled in first PUC and the number of students who actually made it to the second PUC. Almost 1 lakh plus students from first PUC, they don't even make it to the second PUC. And this is not this current year or just couple of years. It's going on from a very, very long. This has to be resolved because the students, if they don't graduate at college level, you're going to have more illiterate and ill-educated in your society. That could be very dangerous. How is the pass percentage distributed among second PUC students? This is a major question which will be actually revealing shocking news if you get into it, but unfortunately there is no such data published by the PUE department. Into the second PUC, into the PUC stream, students come from ICSE stream or CBSE stream and SSLC stream into PUC science. And from there, the pass percentage is 50%. If you see how much of actually the students from ICSE cleared the second PUC, it will be almost 99% of them would have cleared it. 1% maybe they got distracted or they abandoned or dropped out for various reasons. Second, CBSE, almost 98% will clear the second PUC, and the SSLC stream, if you see it, nearly 20% would have cleared, rest 80% would have flunked. So since the students come from ICSE, CBSE, join PUC, so you have a 50% pass and 50% failure. In that 50% pass, a majority of the students are from ICSE and CBSE stream. But the state syllabus stream, that is from the SSLC, those who come to PUC, because the PUC is also a state syllabus, only 20% of them would have cleared. If you remove ICSE and CBSE and see the pass percentage of the second PUC, the pass percentage will be 20% and 80% of them will be failures. This is the fact. Redemption. Whose eggs are you hatching? The PUC is a state syllabus. So SSLC students, after their 10th, they join PUC and all the facilities and advantages are mainly designed for these SSLC students. But unfortunately, the students from ICSE and CBSE, after their 10th level, a vast majority of them will change the track. They come down to PUC level. They will join PUC. They will not continue in ISC or CBSE 11th and 12th or +1 and +2. So in this case, what happens is, students from ICSE and CBSE, they will, even an average or a very poor student from those streams, when they come to PUC, they find the course very simple and very easy, and they perform exceptionally well. So this excellent track record of them will get a pretty good score at second PUC level, final exam. And these people occupy all the best colleges of engineering and medicine, and hardly anything will be left for SSLC students because they will find PUC very tough and they cannot compete with ICSE or CBSE students. It is as good as the egg of some other bird is being laid in this nest and the parent doesn't even know it is not its own egg, but it will hatch and nourish them, and once it grows up, it even won't recognize its own kind. You can see a picture 3, the small tiny mother bird is feeding a huge cuckoo bird. So this is as good an example of cuckoo bird laying its egg in some other bird's nest, and that parent strives and struggles and feeds and nourishes and does all the hard work, but thereafter it is not feeding its own kind but some other kind and helping some other species to survive. This is the same case in the PUC students also. Though it is of a state syllabus stream, it is not doing any good for SSLC background students, but it nourishes and helps at PUC level the ICSE or CBSE students. How can we help prevent students from failing at PUC level? The parents trust a particular college and enrolls their children, paying hefty amount as fee. Some even go to the extent of borrowing or taking a student loan. When the children fail to perform at the college, they provide private and personal coaching too. The educated parents also monitor the study routine of their children. Some parents take extra time out and go to the extent of personally coaching their ward. Despite of all this, the students tends to fail. A large crowd, when it listens to the leader speaking, the leader emotionally, powerfully speaks to them and stir their emotion and their revolution attitude, and they take them to their side. In such a way, their leader will be elected to a post and they support them. This is the power of communication they have. They just speak for a couple of hours and the entire nation elects them to the power. They love them, they encourage them, they are ready to do anything for such a leader. And the leader, like Charlie Chaplin, the best of all, he hardly used any words to communicate. He just had the gestures and his emotions overflow on screen. And even today, if anybody watches a Charlie Chaplin movie, it is a motion picture without voice, but yet they just love him so much. That is the power of communication which superseded any of these leaders. The same thing applies. Listening to those lecturers for 2 long years and then you fail. Is it the students or the system that has failed here? The evaluation or assessment system that could be considered for improvement in effective pass percentage. This is similar to eating only rice and sambar or dal with roti can't make you healthy. Balanced diet is the healthy food. It consists of well-balanced nutrients such as carbohydrates, vitamins, proteins, and minerals. Similarly, awarding pass certificate should not solely be based on the written board examinations. For effective pass percentage, we should involve external 30%, internal 30%, and board exam 40%. If overall 35% aggregate is secured by a student, he is qualified for course completed certificate. Above 50% and below 80% is pass certificate awarded. Greater than or equal to 80% and less than or equal to 100%, a student is eligible for distinction certificate. Adaptation. The current result declaration system needs a change. Can we dare to take that first step so that the present gloomy state of students can be transformed to a bright future of hope and faith? Currently, the result declared as pass or fail. Let's change this to result as pass and course completed. The results will be like, if he is passed, he is qualified for technical courses, qualified for engineering courses, qualified for medical courses, qualified for BSc or nursing or pharmacy. The non-technical courses, it can lead to qualified for technical courses at diploma level, qualified for business schools such as BBA and commerce or things like that, or qualified for arts. The new evaluation system or assessment scheme could be like external examination, practical examination, 25 marks lab assessment, internal examination, average of 2 years, 25 marks written, essay type and short questions, board examination. It should be of the OMR based type. 50 marks objective only. Grade progress for math. If you join ISC or CBSE at 11th and 12th stage, you are sure to get through because the pass percentage is 99% almost. But if you get into PUC, 50% nearly fails because the system is such that they don't help their students to perform well. They don't give them the pass certificate. The evaluation system has failed miserably. This requires an immediate or emergency change is to be brought in to make the performance of PU board and bring justice to the students. The 25% mark in lab should be, most of them will get almost full. The written exam periodically conducted some 4 times or 6 times in an academic year, take an average of this for 25 marks. So together lab exam and written exam, a student gets 35% plus. And in board exam he gets 0. Then he is eligible for pass certificate, and this person cannot enter into engineering or medicine, but he can choose any other stream thereafter plus 2 after completing the second PUC. So therefore there won't be any failures in this. And all the colleges should ensure these students should and must get minimum 35 plus, and it is their job to do that, because these students would have paid enormous fees. And you have to deliver, and you should ensure that the parents get their kids passed through second PUC and their students are not going to fail in second PUC. That is the job of the lecturers and the college. And those who have done lab exam well, the written exam well, and including the board exam well, if they have a distinction, these students should be permitted to join engineering or medicine. Then we will be having a better society, because our society will have a qualified and the real good engineers and doctors, and on whom we can actually rely on. And that will be the pride of our nation. And this great progress format has to be adopted if at all you want to see the fate of PUC to be changed. Because already CBSE and ISE, without openly declaring, they are internally doing. Even a student who is doing very miserably bad, he gets through 12th standard without any difficulty. But this is not the case in the PUC. To keep both the students and the lecturers and the college active and busy throughout, ensuring there is no bunking and people dropping out, you have to keep them on top. So consider the college commences in June, and June to January the next academic year, next year, you can actually keep lab exam and the written exam such that 1 month in June you have a lab exam, July you have written exam, August lab exam, September written exam, October lab exam, November written exam, December lab exam, January written exam. So when you keep exams like this, the lecturers also will be completing the portion in time. Students also will be on a day-to-day basis. They will do their job to ensure they get at least out in all this. It's the test and the lab should be for the 25 marks. So average of 25 will be taken. And you should permit them to do the best, and they can take a best of this. They can repeat any number. If they have not performed first lab quarter exam, so you can ask them if they are willing to repeat that. You should permit, the college should permit to do that particular thing. Written exam also, if they feel they have not done the first quarter written exam well, they can appear again July itself for another attempt. They can make any number of attempts for this to perform better their score. If you do this particular thing at their own convenience and time, the performance of the students and the college will increase and it will be too good. And the final exam, board examination, for total marks of 50 or something, it should be done less than 45 minutes. There should be 25 questions to be answered in 45 minutes, 2 marks each. So therefore you will be having a total of 50. This should be OMR based, optical mark recognition, where this particular thing will ensure that there won't be any careless evaluation, and you don't have to take the burden of the PUC lecturers going on a strike and not coming for evaluation. You don't have to rely on the lecturers for the evaluation at all, because the OMR will be done by the computers. So once the exam has been completed, immediately when the paper comes to the board, PUC board, they simply have to feed into the computer and the marks will be generated immediately, the way we conduct elections in our country. The moment you vote, within a few days, the result is declared. The same way, you're also in the PUC department. Once the exam is written, they don't have to take a month or so to declare the result. If it is a OMR based, the result declaration will be in couple of days. So your job is done well, and there won't be any careless evaluation. So this is the best system you can adopt. The efficiency of the board and the performance will be appreciated by the nationwide. I guarantee that. Most of the students tend to say, how was the exam? How was the paper? They generally tend to say the paper was lengthy. I personally feel the paper is not lengthy. It is their approach which is lengthy. So therefore, what you can do is, the question paper can be printed, the internal evaluation or assessment examination sheet, such that a question is asked and some amount of space is left for them to answer. So therefore, they can come to know how much should be written for this particular question. And in case a particular student or some students are in a position where they have the habit of writing, scratching. So for such students, you can give an additional plain sheet or a blank sheet where they can copy the question and answer to whatever length they want But the marks allotted very clearly will tell them that how much should be written for a given question. So this solves even the nature of evaluation, and students cannot go and say the paper was lengthy. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Come together as a team, seriously think, plan to progress. The concerned authority must put teamwork to make revolutionary changes in PUC education system now, or else it will perish. Blessings and grace be bestowed upon the present younger generation and the generations to come. May they always remain in the faith of our Lord and always do things that pleases Him, and the will of God be done through them. Never ever give way to evil, dictate terms to you, and do wicked things and hurt your own brothers and sisters in our society. Let PUC students walk out gracefully, do your job, for you are paid. Goodbye. God bless. Do well in life, my dear kids. Thanks for watching. The slides were prepared by Prashant, my student. Thank you.